Hey everybody, before this video begins, I have a couple of things I've accidentally errored on in the video, so I'm going to correct those before we begin so you know what's going on here. For starters, junk synchron, which is a synchron I'll be, the synchro or tuner I'll be using, I'll call it a synchro. Besides that, this is actually not the tuner I should be using, it's actually an earth tuner of any kind, it's level 3. I forgot about that, considering of what I need, and I probably would be a warrior or a non-warrior, I'm not sure, because on top of that, I will be using Yugioh, and Yugioh I think got an errata where he has to have a warrior-type monster to summon, which I have. I'm not sure if it's a tuner warrior or a non-tuner warrior. If it's non-tuner warrior, I have no issues with this. I can still summon this in the deck. I'm just letting you know now in advance. This is a non-errata version. And then Barkion requires an earth tuner, and I completely spaced this when making this deck video. So, do not use Junk Synchron, even though it's kind of an interesting play. But yeah, just ignore that. Basically, they'll be proxies instead. So, thanks for listening to that whole ramble. Enjoy the video. Alright, what's up YouTube? Captain Jiggles here back again, and if I'm a little low, turn up your mic. I'm trying to talk low on the mic because of the fact it's so close to my position here. And today I'm bringing you a deck profile. This is one of my old decks I used to play with a lot before Link Summoning came out, and I don't have Link's monsters at all, like any, so I'm not going to have them, but I will be showing you when I get to the extra deck here, what cards I would suggest you take out for any Link monsters you want. It doesn't matter. This is basically my rank 3 deck. It's meant to go 3, 6, and 9 synchros, as well as do rank 3 plays, which actually, believe it or not, it's really fun to play. It's just a casual deck. It probably doesn't perform very well in tournaments, but I took it to a locals once. I didn't compete because I didn't have all the cards at the time, but I was using proxies. I dueled a couple people that were still in the tournament, and I did pretty well against them, but that was a while ago, so just take it with a grain of salt. It's going to be an interesting deck profile, to say the least, and hopefully you guys can see, when I'm placing it down. It's a little weird for me here, because it's upside down for me. Okay, so the first card is Gillosaurus. He is basically your additional special summon. Like, he can special summon. I'm only running him at 1 because obviously he's super situational and very bad if you happen to run into your opponent having a lot of graveyard presence. Good first turn play, especially since they can't bring out anything against it, like they get negated and whatnot with hand traps. And I don't run any Ash Blossoms or like Ghost Ogres and stuff because obviously I don't have them. But this is just like a for fun deck if you wanted to troll your friends with a really weird variety of cards that they would never expect. I run 2 Junk Synchron. He's the only synchro I got, and in case of, if you actually modify this deck, I don't know, no hard feelings, because if you put him with level 2 or lower monsters that aren't tuners, and, they're like hand traps or whatnot, I'm not sure if all hand traps are tuners, but I don't think so, that's actually a decent synchro play that you can enable. So, I just use him as as fodder for the rest of them. I run 2 Necrogardnas, mainly because of the fact, I have some discard cards in here somewhere that will allow me to ditch them, and they're good negate material. Not many people play him anymore. He's kind of an underrated card, but, that's just my personal thoughts on this. And I like this card, personally, the Constructor Train, the red signal. He's a good hand trap, like a battle hand trap, really. He's not a battle fader or, anything else like that. I might replace him with, Scarecrow, just for, a Synchro 4, but that's not really worth it, in my opinion, for anything, because, you pitch a hand, and then you get with Junk Synchron. That doesn't really do it for me, and, I like his effect. He's a good stall card, especially if you just want to have something on the board for your next turn. They already wiped out everything with a Raigeki or Dark Hole, and, yeah, some of these cards I have updated, some of I have not. And for instance, I am running. Oh, hang on a second. I am running 2 Elder of the Six Samurai. He's basically a Cyber Dragon. He's very good. I like him a lot. I would be running 3, but I don't think I have him. And I'd probably sub out the Gillosaurus. But Gillosaurus is a good 1-turn card. This is a good late game turn card, so that's kind of why I'm only running him at 2 right now. Then the funniest card I love to use all the time, Spell Striker. You don't take any battle damage from him, so even if he stays on the field and you get nailed by somebody who has a huge attack value, he protects your life points. I know that's just totally irrelevant at this point of the game. Obviously, it's so fast and destructions, they're more likely going to pop it, but if you can waste their pop off of something you can basically summon for free, I'm okay with that. Next up, we have 3 ofs. Mimic. Basically, it's a Cyber Dragon as long as you have only have level 3s on the board, which is easy because the fact that you just summon something that can summon more, and you just spam level 3s, and then you just summon this on top of that, and it extends out your options for multiple things. And speaking of extensions, we have Crane. I think it's Crane, right? Yeah, Crane. This is basically your Junk Synchron without a or the more effective Junk Synchron. You summon it, you get something from your graveyard. For instance, Necro Garden is if you feel like, if you're going to detach for something like an XYZ as soon as you synchro, it's perfect because you get free material, you use the material, and then it's set up for the graveyard again, and you have some protection for later. And then, of course, what level 3 deck would be without the Marauding Captains? There we go. Marauding Captain, obviously, it's the hand. You summon one, you summon another one, you instantly go into a rank 3. It's basically the Goblinberg of this deck. It's very effective. I love playing it so much. And some of these cards are probably going to have some, like, there's one card in my extra deck that's basically a blank slate, and that's basically for room for an additional Link monster, and besides the other ones that you can replace. But yeah, the basic mechanic is summoning 3s and then keep going and going and going. I only run 3 synchros because you only really need 3, although the third one is kind of an iffy card now. I'm not sure if there's a better one out there because I have 2 level 6 and level 9 synchros. But now we're going into the spells. We have, oh shoot, we have 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Book of Moon, 2 Dark World Dealings, just because it's a draw 1. We have, oops, shoot, keep on forgetting where my borders are on this thing. Alright, so there's that. We have an MST. We would technically have 3 Xian Smoke Signals, but of course Magical Mallet is just a sub-in for that. We also do run, run Foolish Burial, as well as Soul Charge, Regeki, Rhoda, of course. Can't go without Rhoda. And let's see here, Burial from a Different Dimension and Forbidden Lance. That's just a quick play, just because I threw it in there. Burial is a different card. I think a card for another XYZ I used to use in this deck. I think you might be able to use it. Levier, I think, or no, actually, I think it's just for. Yeah, that's right. This is just to recycle your Necro Gardenas. That we have continue to have battle protection. Because if you just banish 2 of them and then banish something else, you can easily do some pretty good stuff with that. What was it? Like, this is just a counter card, really, because if someone, some cards love banishing, and that's the thing. If they like banishing you and they think that there's no way you can recover from banish, 1 false move from them and they're just completely dumbfounded with what you just did. Like, why would you side that in? It's like I said, it's a casual deck. It's meant to put people off guard with what you're actually playing. Like, just have them always questioning what the hell else you're gonna play. And let's see here. I run 2 Babaku and a Threatening Aurora. Chainable is the game for these. Basically, I just chain them. Whenever they declare like they're going into battle phase, I immediately, because they have to declare if they're trying to go into battle phase, so you can activate this, I think. If my memory serves me correctly, it's been a while. But on top of that, once you could also ask them, and if they say they're about to go in their battle phase, you can activate this. I'm pretty sure. These ones, if they try destroying any of these, you just immediately chain it. You get their effect. They can't actually OTK you that turn. It's actually pretty good. Oops. Dimensional Prison. Another chainable card. Compulsory. I forget what this does. And 2 negate cards, but obviously it's a warning and something else. I probably run a Solemn Judgment or strikes, but I don't know. As far as it's breakthrough skill I'm using as well. Target one face yeah, basically it's a one of whatchamacallit. It's a one-of Phoenix chain, and it's pretty good for like I don't know. It's like any kind of play enablers or anything that really just outright starts swamping the field with things. It's basically just an anti-samurai card for the most part. Or not samurai, but samurai-esque things. Whereas I like to call them spamurai. But yeah, that's the main focus of the deck. It's level 3s, and it's a 40-card deck. Now coming into the Synchros and XZs, obviously I'll get to which ones you can sub in for Link monsters easily. Soul of Silver Mountain. It's a good lockdown card. I use 2 because, you know, I love this card so much. As soon as I saw it come out along with Steel Soldier of Stone, or Steel Soldier, you know, Giant Soldier of Steel or whatever it's called. I liked it, but Soldier of Steel isn't in this because, you know, I can't really use it. Then we have number 49. What was it? Fortune Tune. This thing's a stall card, just like the other card. Oh, I do run this other card in my deck. Okay, good. Then we have Zen Mains. You know, good deal with that. Leviair, the Sea Dragon. I like his effects. Triad's Levia. Very good card. I really like it. Here's the cards that you can kind of sub out that I like to use. I run Shark Caesar. Just because I like his effect, you know, it's a constant detach effect. You can use as many as you want. So if you don't want to use a Link monster and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to have all of these level 3s put into this one monster, that's your call. You can do that. That's what I usually do. I try to get like 5 monsters and immediately summon this thing with 5, and then use some, you know, some protection effects on it. You can sub 1 out. Okay, so here's the stuff that I would suggest you sub out if you're going to be using Link monsters. 1 Shark Caesar, Giga Brilliant, and of course I have Leviathan Dragon just because of attack boost. And there is your fancy schmancy the sub card basically. And ironically enough, the card that this is actually subbed on is a Vanity's Emptiness. Yeah, the reason I did this was because basically this is what was in my Monster Reborn slot. So I was like, I don't want to leave this out of a sleeve since it's super, and it might come back eventually, and it might be valuable. So I just put it in a sleeve. I'll keep it in a sleeve for now. But yeah, that's the deck, and it is really fun. I love playing with Tuneware because, in case you didn't know, when this thing gets popped, or when it leaves the field, I believe, you basically, instead of destroying it and putting it to the graveyard, you put it back to your extra deck, and then you put 2 of the materials that you used for it, or rather, it could be the 2 materials or just 2 level 3s in general, and then put them back in your deck. So if you're using things like Marauding Captain, like I said, Marauding Captains and Cranes, you just recycle those and completely reset the effect that you could possibly draw them again. And I think part of the reason why Reinforcements of the Army, besides being so, you know, generic, it's that's why it's probably banned. But then the 3 Synchros I use, Goyo, duh. Barkion, again, duh. I love Barkion. And then I have Mistworm. I don't really think Mistworm's really good, per se, but to be honest, I don't know what else to put in here. I'm not sure. I don't think Trishula can come in here, because I think that requires a water, but I'm not sure. And I don't even think I could possibly make it with the levels I have, but yeah. Anybody in the comments, let me know if there's anything I can replace Mistworm with, because I wouldn't mind getting one. And I know everybody's probably screaming at me in the comments, like if you see this video, you're probably screaming in the comments saying, well, why don't you put Desires in here? And for starters, I don't want to pay $5 for a card that I'm rarely ever going to use. Because there's one deck I'll probably use that in, and that's probably my Crystal Beast deck that I want to build. Thanks to you, DZ, for the deck profile. I really want it, but the bonds are so expensive. But yeah, I'll probably end up making those and then not having any more. Like I could side them out, but then I would always want to play with Crystal Beasts, so I don't really feel like I need more than 2. And this deck doesn't like being banished face down. Face down banishing is not a good idea. And if anybody has any better suggestions, modify it. Go for it. You know, take the base premise and keep making new versions. I'd love to see new versions of this deck because it's a very consistent summoning engine, I would say. You know, you could search, but that's the thing. Rhoda is limited to 1, so I can only use 1. But anybody who has questions on why I run any certain card in this deck, please, you know, comment. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to tell you why. And without any further ado, I'll get out of here. Captain Jiggles, out.